Hello everybody and welcome back to Expert Examiner IELTS. My name is Glyn and in this video we're going to do some more writing IELTS task 2 academic feedback. So an essay. Of course we start by looking carefully at the question. The average standard of people's health is likely to be lower in the future than it is now. So what is the main theme here? Well, health, people's health, also future. So we're looking for a lot of vocab connected to health. So what things might we expect to see? I don't know, heart attack, stroke, diabetes, chronic health problems, that type of language we could expect to hear. Also about nutrition, perhaps, dietary choices, micronutrients, macronutrients, that type of language we could possibly expect to see, but quite a broad focus. People's health. You could even get into mental health here too. There's nothing saying that it's about physical health, so you could talk about mental health issues, so some words like anxiety, depression, mental health, or I don't know, personality disorders or something like this. Okay, what kind of question is it? To what extent do you agree or disagree with this statement? So I recommend either saying that you agree or disagree, or fully disagree, or something like this. Don't want to sit in the middle. It's much easier for you as a candidate to just pick one side and argue it. Okay, so what am I expecting from the introduction here? I want to see a general statement about people's health. You might say something like, for centuries, human health has been increasing with more and more people living longer. However, there are those who believe that future humans will not enjoy the same standards of health that we currently enjoy. That would be a reasonable opening. It talks about the subject in general of health, and also it refers to the question, and then some thesis statement, like in this essay I will argue that or this essay will discuss, or this essay will explain why humans will be healthier in the future, or why humans won't be healthier in the future. So some thesis statement. We want to see what the position is, what the candidate believes. Do they agree or disagree? But we don't want to go into details about why that is the case. We don't want to know in the introduction why they agree or why they disagree. The thesis statement is enough. You might put some reference to what will be discussed, like some of your reasons, but I don't think it's necessary in the introduction. But let's see what the candidate has. So, as compared to the coming future. As compared to the coming future. That's a strange way to start. Keep your ideas simple. The mean standard of an individual's health would be comparatively lower than it is today. Okay, I'm opening statements and closing statements. We want to make 100% sure that those ideas are easy and not open to interpretation. The examiner does not want to reread your first line or your last line to try to understand what you mean. And that's what I have to do here. As compared to the coming future, okay, so let's maybe make this easier. Compared to the future, the mean standard of an individual's health would be, will be, talking about future time, will be lower than it is today. So compared to the future, health standards will be lower than it is today compared to the future. So I don't see what that means. Maybe compared to nowadays, the mean standard of an individual's health in the future will be lower than it is today. But yeah, you need to find a simpler way of explaining this opening statement. So it's very confusing. Okay, I completely agree with this statement. Okay, did we say that in academic writing? I completely agree. I don't know. I wouldn't use that in an academic essay. I completely agree. But okay, at least we see what the candidate's position is. I completely agree with this statement, and this could be attributed. What is this here? The fact that you agree? or the fact that human lives will not be stronger in the future? Because it looks like, in the position of this, it looks like this talks about why you completely agree. I completely agree with this statement, and this could be attributed. But I guess this here, you mean people not being healthy in the future. But again, I have to interpret that. It's not clear from the language. This could be attributed to the lifestyle adopted by a person. Okay, yeah. Firstly, it is okay. It seems like you're starting to explain your arguments here. Firstly, it is associated with a type of diet, and secondly, this reduction in the level of well-being could also be explained by the inactive lifestyle. So, this introduction, sorry to say it, is a mess. A general statement about the theme of health, all over the world, people care about their living standards, and with increased access to healthcare and nutrition, people nowadays are living healthier lives than they were in the past. However, there are those who believe that future humans will not enjoy the same standards of living or the same standards of health that we currently enjoy. This essay will support this claim, or this essay will attempt to refute this claim, or this essay will argue that future humans will or won't live healthier lives. Something like that is fine. But this, I just want to read it through one more time. As compared to the coming future, the mean standard of an individual's health would be comparatively lower than it is today. So hard to understand this. I completely agree with this statement. It's too informal. And this, we don't know what this is talking about. It seems like it's talking about why you agree, but really it's talking about health standards. This could be attributed to the lifestyle adopted by a person. Firstly, it is associated with a type of diet. Okay, so you're setting out what you're going to talk about. Fine-ish. And secondly, this reduction in the level of well-being could also be explained by the inactive lifestyle. Okay, so you're explaining why you believe what you believe, but I don't know. Sorry, that shouldn't be read. Inactive lifestyle is fine. You're explaining why you believe what you believe, but we don't really need that in the introduction. It's enough in the introduction to outline your position. Okay, so it should be pretty easy to understand where this essay is going. If there is a logical flow to the essay, it means that in the first body paragraph we will have the type of diet, and why people's diets will result in future health problems. And also in body paragraph 2 we should get some stuff about inactive lifestyle. So let's see if that's what we get. It is quite evident that in the recent decades there has been an exponential increase, so article here, an exponential increase in the consumption of fast food. I don't know if we can say that has it been exponential? Maybe it has. I mean, I would certainly argue that there's been a significant increase, a considerable increase, but I don't know if there's been an exponential increase, but might have been, in the consumption of fast food, which is harmful for our health. I agree. Fast food in general is harmful for our health. This could arise from the notion, so no comma here. Again, this is a relative clause, and there are lots of rules about when we use and when we don't use commas in relative clauses. So certainly something for the candidate to look into here. This could arise from the notion that people tend not to invest. Okay, no. So what is the candidate doing here? The candidate is trying to explain why people eat fast food. Let's just read this again. This could arise from the notion, don't know if it's notion, that people tend to not invest, I prefer tend not to invest much time in preparing full course meals. I don't know about this full course meals, and prefer to eat on the go, which is possible by opting for quick service based restaurants. The language seems too try-hardy here, so it seems like the candidate is really trying to use impressive language and they are sacrificing the clarity. Keep ideas simple. But what is the candidate doing here? The candidate is trying to explain why people choose fast food. Now, is that part of the question? We always want to keep the question in mind. Is it relevant to the question why people choose fast food? I would argue no. The fact that they are eating more and more fast food, that could lead to humans being unhealthier in the future. And that's what you need to explain. You don't need to explain why humans are choosing more and more fast food. So this stuff is irrelevant. Okay, because of this, we should have a comma here. Because of this, no. Because of this increasing dependency and unnatural addiction to the fast food options, comma. Yeah, good. I should read to the end. The wide variety of nutrients like protein, carbohydrates, fats, etc. Don't use etc in academic writing, and so on is fine, or just don't put anything. We do not use etc in academic writing. Don't use abbreviations. And essential vitamins available through home-cooked meals is not consumed that regularly. Whoa. Because of this increasing dependency and unnatural addiction to the fast food options, the wide variety of nutrients like protein, carbohydrates, fats, etc., and essential vitamins available through home-cooked meal. So I guess that's the super complex subject here. Let's just look here. That's the subject, right? Is not available, is not consumed that regularly. I don't know. We consume food, but I don't know. Consume vitamins might be possible, but there is a problem here that does fast food contain protein? Yes. Does fast food contain carbohydrates? Yes. Does fast food contain fats? Yes. Fast food even contains some essential vitamins. So that's not the problem with fast food. The problem with fast food isn't that it contains protein, isn't that it doesn't contain protein, carbohydrates, and fats. The problem with fast food is that it is too high in saturated fat, or too high in. I know there are different opinions about nutrition, but the problem with fast food is certainly not that it doesn't contain protein, carbohydrates, and fats. Probably it contains too much protein, carbohydrates, and fats, or too much salt or something like this. So this point isn't reasonable. It doesn't make sense. Because of this trend, the status of our health as a society is going to deplete. Yeah, I don't know if that's proven. Humans are eating more and more fast food, and I don't like this deplete. I don't know if the status of health can deplete. That doesn't seem like a good collocation. Cool. So be specific, right? Talk about maybe the link between fast food, saturated fat, salt, and health problems such as heart disease. That could be something that you could point to. It isn't enough to say a general statement, the status of our health will deplete. You could say that more and more fast food consumption will result in more and more preventable deaths due to things like heart disease. That would be a fair point. Okay, to add to this discussion, don't like this. Start if you're doing something like this. Wait, do you agree or disagree? And you choose to agree. Keep your life simple. Start with firstly in body paragraph 1, and then start with secondly in body paragraph 2. It's very simple, effective signposting language. To add to this discussion, maybe it's okay. It's not a big problem. To add to this discussion, attention could also be drawn to the level of physical activity. I don't know, but activeness sounds strange. Observed. So it's not about whether we observe it or not. It's the level of physical activity in average adults. It doesn't matter if we observe it or not. So observed is irrelevant. In the average adult, or in average adults in general, but not in the average adults. At this point of time, the vast majority of the people, so we need a the here, the vast majority of the people have a preference to have a quiet day indoors, doing activities like watching a movie, playing video games. So I don't know if this is true either. Is it really true that the vast majority of people have a preference to have a quiet day indoors watching a movie or playing video games? I don't know. There's certainly an increasing trend. You could say that more and more people prefer, but I don't know if we can say that the vast majority of people. I don't know if that's true. Again, we have an ETC here. We don't use this in academic writing. Instead of focusing on activities like exercising, playing video Instead of focusing on activities like exercising, playing games, etc. Please stop using etc. Okay, so this instead of is connected to the previous thing, right? Oh, but you have etc full stop and then instead of. So you have a subordinate clause here, but there's no main clause. This clause, instead of clauses can't stand by themselves as a sentence. Instead of focusing on activities like exercising, playing games, etc., that needs to be connected to another clause, and it's not here. An inclination, I don't know why you're capitalizing inclination. That's very strange. An inclination, comma, of staying active. What is this comma for? Of staying active and not involving oneself in physically important activities for improved health has become too common. An inclination of staying inactive and not involving oneself in involving oneself in something, very good collocation, has become too common. Good variety of grammar. We get some perfect in there. Cool. Which is will. Oh, come on. You know this, right? Check your writing. Which is will. How does that sound to you, candidate? Does it sound okay? Which is will definitely. Which is will definitely. You know that this is a mistake. Probably you were going to start which is definitely going to, and then you changed it to which will definitely. Leave some time after you finish writing to look through and find these mistakes. You have to find these mistakes, these critical, obvious mistakes, which is will definitely lead to a reduction in, I don't know, lead to reduced overall. Okay, lead to reduced overall health is fine. I think lead to a reduction in. Nominalization, changing verbs into nouns, is very common in academic writing. So I think lead to a reduction in is better. But it's okay for the general public. So, okay, is that fair? Is it fair to say that not being active will definitely lead to a reduction in overall health? I think that's fair. I think we can say that. Okay, in conclusion, the average level of health of the general public, so missing the article here, of the general public is going to decrease in the upcoming future as compared to present conditions because of two causative reasons. It's tautological. Causative reasons. We don't use the word causative to describe reasons. All reasons are by nature causative. Causative reasons, strange collocation, which are a lack of a well-balanced diet and regular physical activity. Activities in the plural maybe is okay. Okay, so the conclusion is short, sharp, and generally summarizes the main points. Fine. But let's get into some marks. So, task response. This can't be more than a 6. Actually, for me, it can't be more than a 5 for task response. Why? The arguments are either not true, or not well explained, or irrelevant, right? This is irrelevant information. Explaining why people eat too much fast food, it's irrelevant. We don't want it. Also, saying that the problem with fast food is that it doesn't have protein, carbohydrates, and fats, that's not true. Um, in the introduction, also, we have too much explanation of why you believe what you believe, and we have a very confusing opening statement. So for me, task response, I am generally informed, but there's too much irrelevant information. And yeah, coherence and cohesion. So I'm also going to go with 5 for coherence and cohesion. The problem isn't with the cohesion. The cohesion is more or less okay, but we have this etc a few times. etc is the lazy way of lacking cohesion. I like football, tennis, etc. You know, it's like the candidate saying, I don't want to use language to explain my ideas, so I'm just going to use an informal etc. But in general, cohesion isn't a problem. We get the signposting language in conclusion to add to this discussion because of this increasing dependency. Firstly, we get cohesive devices, but the coherence is so bad simply because the ideas are too complex. Or maybe not that the ideas are complex, but the way that the candidate presents the ideas are so complex. And it just leads to a complete misunderstanding or confusion, or the examiner needs to read and reread and reread again because it's just not always clear. So for me, coherence and cohesion stands at 5. Lexical resource is strong, I will say this. There is some strange thing like too try-hardy, causative reasons. Why do we have causative reasons? What is this? Let's have a look. Full course. Opting for is nice, but quick service-based restaurants. I don't know if quick service-based restaurants is a real collocation. Is it? I don't know anyone who uses that. Full course meals. Again, I don't know this thing of full course meals. Exponential increase is good, but I don't know if it's suitable here. You know, a considerable increase, I agree, but has it been an exponential increase? I don't know. So it's noticeable that the candidate is trying so hard. The candidate is trying so hard to use vocab or language that is impressive, and it's having the opposite effect. But we do see, you know, staying inactive, fine, an inclination, good. Oh, sorry. The vast majority of is a nice collocation. The general public is a nice collocation. Deplete is incorrectly used. Notion maybe is okay. And this increasing dependency, unnatural addiction. So we do have a lot of examples of good vocab. Some of it is sloppily used. So I think there is enough for a 7 in there. Grammatical range and accuracy. So I want to give a 6 for this, even though there is good level and there is good variety. We had some present perfect in there. We also have this reflexive pronoun involving oneself in something. Cool. But I feel like the clauses, a few times, the clauses are strange. Like having a subordinate clause by itself without a main clause, that's sloppy. A lot of mistakes with articles too. So very noticeable frequency of mistakes with articles. A little bit of repetition with like back to back because of this da 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 clause, da 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 clause, and then just a little bit later because of the da 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 clause, the status of our health of a society, da 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 da. So I mean that repetition of clause isn't a big problem, but yeah, so it's tough. It is tough. So we do get, so let's just break this down, right? Complex sentences. Do we have them? Yes. Are they always accurate? No. Complex structures. Do we have them? I don't know if we have complex structures. Get a bit of present perfect. Let's just have a look for some complex structures. Involve oneself in something. That's a complex structure. That's fine. I'll just put that. And it's even with a gerund, staying active and not involving oneself in. So that's good. That's a good complex structure. Do we have any other complex structures or high-level structures? Have a preference to do something. You could say that that's a good thing. Okay, we get a gerund after a preposition. Not a big deal, but still, it's all right. Yeah, future is which is will. So we would like to see a variety of future time constructions here. So predictive constructions like will definitely or will probably or is likely to, that type of stuff maybe was slightly lacking. And also we had this would, which is also a problem. Don't use would to make predictions about the future. So maybe because there's not quite enough variety with future time constructions and because of the repeated mistakes with articles, maybe there's enough to pull this grammatical range and accuracy down to a 6. So those are my thoughts. Probably I could spend more time and get more specific or get more precise or more reliable predictions for scores, but this is my impression. So overall, 5, 5, 6, 7. That leads to a, is it 5, between 5.5 or 6.0. So this is a pity because I know that the candidate has better language than this, right? The candidate's actual knowledge of English is higher, for sure. This is upper intermediate. But remember, writing tests your ability, doesn't test your cognitive knowledge of English. It doesn't test how much you can understand when you read, how well you can speak, how successful you are when you have discussions and things like this. IELTS Academic Task 2 measures your ability to write an academic essay, and this isn't good enough for a high-level academic essay, and so the candidate gets 5.5, 6.0, which is B2 upper intermediate. Yeah, so those are my thoughts. If you have any comments or questions, of course, please let me know. Please also, if you are watching this video to the end, please give me a like. I guess it helps to spread the word on YouTube. Who knows? I am doing free writing feedback in the month of June. June is coming to an end, so if you want feedback, please let me know as soon as possible. I'm also doing some free speaking tests, so if you'd like to have some feedback on your speaking, also get in touch. But for now, I will leave it there. Thank you very much and have a wonderful day, evening, morning.